Let's begin with this chapter today, managerial remuneration. Okay, it is a part of another chapter. Okay, the other day when I had explained you all that this is a part of the other chapter as well. Okay, in that entire chapter is theory, only managerial remuneration is where we will have practicals to be solved. Okay, now to understand first what is managerial remuneration. Okay, थोड़ा सा the theory part of managerial remuneration we will have to look at it because it is completely covered in Companies Act 2013. Now, managerial remuneration is basically the remuneration, the payment, the salary, whatever you name it as, which we provide to our key managerial personnel. Okay, managerial personnel KMPs. That is our managers. Okay, or the whole time directors, or we can have the part time directors. Now, as per Company Act 2013, if we have a MD, then we do not have a manager. Okay, either we have a manager or we have a MD, managing director. Okay, so here this particular managerial remuneration is telling us that a company which is registered under the Company Act 2013 and employees, managers, they have whole time directors, they also have part time directors. So how much should a company pay them? What is the maximum remuneration allowed, okay, which can be paid to these managers or WTD or PTDs? Okay, so now how do I calculate? They are telling us that you have to take a percentage of the net profit of that particular company. Okay, so Company Act 2013 under section 198, they have told us that first calculate the net profit the way we tell you, not the book profit. Okay, not what you are showing in your PNL. Company का PNL में net profit जो है वो नहीं. We are going to tell you how to first come to the net profit as per section 198. Then whatever will be that net profit, based on that net profit you will take the maximum remuneration which is allowed under the law. Okay, now how much is the maximum remuneration? They have already told us. Okay, overall, for everybody, whoever is there in the company, then it may be one manager, two whole-time directors, three part-time directors. Okay, so it can be one manager, two whole-time directors, three part-time directors. Okay, for everybody together it can be maximum 11% of this net profit. Okay, if there is only one managerial personnel, okay, there is only one manager or there is only one whole time director, then to that particular one person it can be maximum only 5% of the net profit. But if there are more than one managerial personnel, means you have one manager, you have two whole time directors, etc., then total will be 10% of the net profit. Okay, however, when you calculate the remuneration of the part-time directors, now there are some companies who along with the whole-time directors also have part-time directors. There are some companies who do not have only any whole-time directors. They have only part-time directors working for the company. So for those part-time directors, say if there is no manager or there is no whole-time director, then for those part-time directors, it is going to be 3% of the net profit. But if there is a managing director or if there is a whole time director, then for that particular part time directors, it will be only 1% of the net profit. Okay, these percentages you will understand as and when we will solve more and more sums. Okay, you do not have to worry at all, okay, about these percentages. What you need to remember is that if it is only one manager or only one whole time director, then it will be 5% of the net profit. Only one manager or one whole time director, then 5%. But if there are more than one manager and more than one whole time directors, okay, more than one managerial person basically, then it will be 10%. And if there are managers, whole time directors, and part time directors, then the total will be 11%. देखो ये कैसे आया 11%? वैसे भी 1% is for the part-time directors, no, and 10% is for more than one managerial person. To 10 plus 1, here it is the 11. So this is how you can remember. And if there are no managing directors at all and only part-time directors are there, then all the part-time directors together can take 3% of the net profit as their remuneration. Okay. Now, if the company is paying more than what is being calculated here, it can be done. They require certain permissions and the rules which are given in the Company Act 2013. Okay, so they can have a special contract with those managers or MDs or whatever, in which they are paying them over and above the limits provided in the Act. If they're paying them above the limits, then there are certain rules and certain provisions under the Act which are to be complied with. Am I clear with this up till now? Okay.
Ma'am, I have a query.
Yes.
Um, when all the independent directors or non-executive directors are the is that what we mean by part-time directors?
Yes, non-executive directors are the part-time directors. Independent directors never get remuneration.
Okay.
Independent directors are independent in nature. They just come and they take director sitting fees, attending
Okay.
for meetings. Okay, sitting fees, director sitting fees, directors meetings attended fees, all are not a part of remuneration. Remuneration is salary. A
Okay.
company cannot pay salary to an independent director. All right.
Okay.
And here the part-time directors are the
Okay.
non-executive directors, the part-time ones. Okay, NEDs. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Now to do all this, first we need the net profit. That I will have to calculate it as per section 198. Okay. I'll come to it. What is section 198? One important note, which I just told you all: sitting fees. Sitting fees are those fees which are given to the directors for attending meetings. So sometimes the the non-executive directors, part-time directors, okay, non-executive directors, any kind of other directors, even sometimes whole-time directors, they take a separate fees for attending the meeting. So this is not considered and it is not included in remuneration. Okay. Now, coming to section 198, our important section. Okay. We have to calculate net profit for ascertaining managerial remuneration. Okay. There are two methods. I'm starting with this method one. There are two methods, method one and method two. In method one, I will have my start point with gross profit. इन मेथड टू आई स्टार्ट विथ नेट प्रॉफिट, है ना. ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट बनाते हैं तभी जाके ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट मिलता है ना हमें, है कि नहीं. तो इन मेथड वन आई विल स्टार्ट विथ ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट. In method 2 I will start with net profit. Any method you can do, any method you will do, the answer will be the same, but you will have to know these methods both. Okay, now if I am starting, okay, with the gross profit, when gross profit is the starting point of the sum, okay, then how will I calculate? Then I have to do the net profit for the purpose, net profit under section 198. If I have to arrive to the net profit as per section 198, then I will have to do the following adjustments to my gross profit. Okay, what adjustments are there? I will give credit to the following sums. Okay, credit means what? I can add to the gross profit. Okay, these will be added. What? Bounties, any subsidies received from the government or any authorities. So all this can be added back to the gross profit. Okay, so subsidies received from the government, it is an income, which is an allowable income. Okay, so that has to be added to the profits. Credit should not be given to the following. That means The following should not be added when the gross profit is the starting point. Do not add any kind of premium on shares or debentures. Don't add that, because this is a capital profit. Anything which is capital in nature, we avoid under section 198. We also don't add any profits if we have made on forfeited shares. Any other profits which are again of capital nature, and any other capital profits on the sale of immovable property or a fixed assets. होता है ना, कभी कभी कोई एक asset है अपने पास, we go ahead and we sell that asset because it is of no use, so we sometimes make profit when we sell it. So these profits are all capital in nature. Since they are all capital in nature, I will not add to my gross profit. Not add. ओके, सब्सिडीज गवर्नमेंट दे रहा है, बाउंटीज गवर्नमेंट दे रहा है, पब्लिक अथॉरिटी दे रही है, नो प्रॉब्लम, इट इज अ गुड इनकम, add it to the gross profit, but not these type of capital profits. Okay, then the following sums can be deducted. Okay, shall be deducted when the gross profit is the starting point, means these are the allowable expenses. करते हैं ना हम, ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट से डिडक्ट करते हैं when we make a P&L account. The usual expenses, directors sitting fees, bonus or commission which I give to my employees, tax on excess or abnormal profits, not the normal tax, tax on excess or abnormal profits. Then tax special reason or special circumstances which are given by the central government. Interest on debentures I can subtract because this is my allowable expense. Interest on mortgages, interest on other loans, expenses which I have made on repairs, contributions. Okay, the company is doing contributions under section 181 that are to the trust which are allowed. Okay, these contributions are allowed by law. Companies can do contributions to these type of trust or charitable institutions, but they should be covered under section 191. Then depreciation, allowable expense, but depreciation has to be calculated as per the section given under this act. Okay, 123, under section 123. Then liability from the breach of contract, any kind of insurance, bad debts. Okay, but not provision for bad debts, not reserve for bad debts, the actual bad debts, actual one. Okay, however, these following sums shall not be deducted. These are a non-allowable, disallowed expense. We cannot deduct it from our gross profit. Income tax, super tax of the company, voluntary compensations, damages, loss of any capital nature, all these expenses are not allowed. Therefore, I am not going to deduct it from my gross profit. Okay, so what will I add? I will add, in my gross profit, I will add my allowable incomes, allowable income, and I will subtract my allowable expenses, which they have specifically given to me. Okay, but I will not add my disallowed income, any kind of income which is a capital in nature. These incomes are capital in nature. I am not going to add it to my gross profit. Am I clear with this? Okay, and also any expenses, especially this income tax expense, then you know that transfer to reserves, all that is not allowed. Okay, income tax, super tax, voluntary compensations you are doing. Okay, capital profit allowed nahi hai, to capital loss bhi allowed nahi hai as an expense. Okay, now how do I come to know that when I do a, okay, capital profit on sale of immovable property, what do you mean by capital profit? How will I come to know whether my profit is a revenue profit or a capital profit when I sell my old asset or a immovable property? How will I come to know? So uske liye ekdam simple sa, there is one working note. Okay, first, only the amount, okay, which is up to the accumulated depreciation of that asset, that I will treat as revenue. Anything which is over and above accumulated depreciation, that I will treat it as capital profit. Example, say the cost of the plant and machine, they have given me 2 lakhs, and the written down value they have given me 1 lakh 20,000. In my first case, the plant was sold for 2,20,000. Okay, so first, let me just see original cost of the machine. They have given me 2 lakhs. They have also given me the written down value WDV 1 lakh 20. With that, I come to know, oh, the depreciation is 80,000. Correct? Okay. Now the profit, sale price of this particular kit is 2,20,000. So now I come to know, okay, 2,20,000 minus 1,20,000, that will only sorry, add back, add the 1 lakh minus 1,20,000, that will give me my 1 lakh as the profit. So in my case 1, my profit is 1 lakh, out of which depreciation is 80,000. So the balance is 20. This is revenue profit. This is allowed, no problem with this, but this capital profit is not allowed. Okay, so I will have to kind of, no credit can be given. That means this kind of capital profit should not be added back. Okay, should not be added back when the gross profit is the starting point. So I can add back the revenue profit, this I can add back, but not this. So even if they have given me that the profit on sale of plant or machinery is 1 lakh, I will have to first ascertain how much is the revenue profit and how much is the capital profit. Based on that only, I will see whether I want to, which one I have to add, because only revenue profit can be added back, capital profit cannot be added back. Am I clear right now? Okay, so any sum in which they are telling us that there is some asset which is sold for this selling price and this is the profit, we will first do this working note in order to ascertain which is the revenue profit and which is the capital profit, and then do the adjustments accordingly. Okay, right? Then sometimes we also pay certain commission to our managers. Okay, so we can enter as a company, we can enter as an agreement to pay the commission, which is a certain percentage. Now if they are telling me that the commission is 5% of profit after after charging such commission, and they are telling me that find the amount of commission. Okay, firstly I have to find commission which is 5% of profit आफ्टर चार्जिंग सच कमीशन, यानी तुम्हारा ये जो नेट प्रॉफिट आ रहा है, सपोज एक्स अमाउंट, इट इज बीइंग कमिंग आफ्टर डिडक्शन ऑफ कमीशन, ऑलरेडी डिडक्ट हो चुका है, बट आई डोंट नो ओनली द अमाउंट. So how can I not know two unknowns? Okay, so for that we have a particular formula. In that we take profit as per section 198. Okay, whatever is the net profit first without commission, without commission as an expense, into the rate of the commission divided by 100 plus the rate. Okay, so whenever they tell you that the commission paid to a manager is 2% or 3% of the profit after charging such commission, then we will always use this formula. Clear? Hmm? Now say suppose method 2, where I am using my net profit. They have given me net profit. Okay, P&L statement they have given me, not the gross profit statement. In that case, if I'm starting with the P&L, then what will I do? Then I will add back profit as per P&L. I will start with. I will add back all these expenses. See, all the expenses which are disallowed. Disallowed. Disallowed expenses I will add back. Whatever they have paid to managerial personnel, I'll add back. Why? Because I am now calculating no managerial personnel. So why will I consider the one which is given in the books? I'll add it. Depreciation as per books, I will add it because I am allowed depreciation as per act. Okay, not depreciation as per the books. Any kind of reserves for doubtful debts, add back. Actual bad debts, allowed. Proposed dividend, add back. All this is proposed. All provisions for tax, this is provision for tax. Okay, transfers to reserves, add back. Loss on sale of investment. Okay, if there is any kind of a capital loss, then I will add back. Then bad debts, because this is an allowable expense. Allowable expense I can deduct. Okay, and I will also deduct disallowed income. Okay, so allowable expense, bad debts, yes. Security premium, it is a disallowed income. I will add it, I will subtract it. Then profit on sale of land also I will subtract it. Okay, profit on machinery. Depreciation as per act is allowed. इसमें बीज होगा क्या? Allowable expense. Past losses are allowed. Any kind of a loss which you have made in past, that also you can deduct. So profit as per section, sorry, this is as per section 198. Okay. So if I'm starting with the net profit as my starting point, I will add back all the disallowed expenses. Okay, disallowed expenses. All the reserves for bad debts, proposed dividend, provisions. Okay, all these provisions and reserves and all that are not allowed. Depreciation of as per the books also is not allowed. Loss on sale of investment, a capital loss, I will add it back. Okay, then I will less the allowable expenses and a disallowed income. Security premium is an income, but it is not allowed. It is a capital income, no, so not allowed. Security premium, profit on sale of land, capital profit, huh? Profit on sale of machinery, anything which is capital in nature is disallowed. Okay, so whenever I'll start with my net profit, I will solve the sum in this manner.
Nahi.
Can you all please keep yourself on mute? Okay, if you all have any questions, you all can definitely ask me. Okay, now coming to, okay, this provisions of relating to remuneration, this you can definitely understand with the help of company act only. It's the same thing again. Okay, they have given certain threshold limits regarding the capital and how much remuneration is payable. If the capital of the company is less than 5 crores, or sometimes it is negative, okay, so you cannot exceed 60 lakhs rupees. If it is between 5 crores and 100 crores of your capital, company has a capital between this threshold, then it should not exceed 84 lakhs. If it is between 100 crores and 250 crores, then 120 lakhs. And the capital is above 250 crores, then 120 lakhs plus 0.1% of the excess of 250. Okay, however, these limits can be doubled as per the agreements and as per the shareholders' special resolution. Okay, so all this can be doubled. This is given under the act, but it can be doubled, it can be more than the threshold limit, provided you follow the entire rules and regulations given for the particular increase in this remuneration. Okay, now I want to start with problem number 2, sorry, problem number 1. Okay, so for that, let us read the sum nicely. Pay attention. Afterwards, if you all have any questions, you all can ask me. Okay. I'm going to solve this sum with both the methods, gross profit method, net profit method, both. Okay. Now, following is the profit and loss account of Z Limited for the year ended 31st March 2019. Okay, so I am reading the debit side first. We have salaries and bonus, 3 lakhs. Then we have general expenses 1,50,000, repairs to buildings 30, directors sitting fees. Fees means sitting fees 10,000. R&D, research and development expenses. Ex gratia payment to the employees, to depreciation, to bad debts, to compensation for breach of contract, to donations as per section 181, to manager director salary, interest on debentures, to debenture trustees remuneration, income tax and net profit is given here. And in my credit side, the incomes are gross profit. I have a profit on sale of plant, subsidy I got from central government. There is some interest which I've received on investments. My transfer fees, companies में shares होते हैं, right? Shares keep on transferring from one person to another, for which company charges fees. It is an allowable income, proper income. And by miscellaneous operating income, okay, 10,000. Now they have given me the following additional information. Z Limited employees Mr. X, who is the managing director. He is entitled to a salary of 5,000 per month. Plus, he has to get a commission 1% of net profit before charging such salary. Before, not after, before. Whole of the R&D expenses were incurred for purchase of the equipment. Cost of the plant which was sold was 2,50,000 and the depreciation up till date was 70,000. Depreciation appearing in the profit on loss account has been calculated as per section 123 only. Okay, with the schedule 2. We are supposed to calculate the maximum remuneration which we can pay to this managing director. Okay. I will start with the gross profit method first. Okay, calculation of the profit as per section 198, method 1, gross profit method. In that, first, they have given me gross profit is equal to 10 lakhs. Okay. Now, add back. What all I will add back? I will add back all the allowable incomes. Allowable income. I can add. Okay. So here, first one, profit on sale of plant. Not the whole profit, but the revenue profit I can add, no? So revenue profit on sale of plant. I'll come to it. How did we get this working note? 70,000. Then subsidy from the central government is the second one. I can add that also. I have interest received on my investments. I can add back. Then transfer fees. I will add. Miscellaneous operating income 10,000. That also I will add. All these are my allowable income. And now what is disallowed income? They have specifically given to us. Correct? So all these allowable income I will add it. Now, how did I get revenue profit on sale of plant? Here. Okay. They have told me the original cost of the plant is 2,50,000 and up till now the depreciation is 70. So the amount up till the accumulated depreciation I will treat it as a revenue profit that I can add to the gross profit. Okay, so cost of the plant is 2,50,000, depreciation is 70, so my written down value is 1,80,000. Profit they have told me 1 lakh, so selling price is 2,80,000. Now out of this 1,70,000 is my revenue profit, so my capital profit will be 30,000. Okay, this I cannot give a credit, but I can give a credit to 70,000. That is why I have added back. Less, I will less all the allowable expenses. Okay, so allowable expenses on the debit side, salaries and bonus, allowable expense day to day, general expenses allowable, repairs to building, director's fees allowable, depreciation they are telling me कि भाई this depreciation sorry, R&D expense and ex gratia payment to employees cannot be an allowable expenses because R&D expense is a capital expense in the nature. Okay, research and development expenses, huge advertisement expenses, laboratory setup expenses. All these are capital expenses. We are doing revenue statement. Capital expenses are not allowed. Any kind of this ex gratia payment to employees, ये कुछ नहीं होता है ex gratia and all. We do not allow all this. Okay. So R&D expense, ex gratia payment to employees is not allowed expense. That is why I have not subtracted. I have given a note to it. Don't worry. You all will not have to write anything here.
Ma'am, bonus and commission to employees is allowed to be deducted, right?
Yeah, yeah. Bonus
So
and
ex gratia payment is not similar to bonus?
no, but if you're giving a bonus, you have to follow the bonus act. No, what is ex gratia payment? Like what does that mean? Like whom what you have paid? Is it as per the act?
Okay.
Correct? No. Even same thing it is with the depreciation. In this sum, they are telling me that the depreciation is as per section 123. If they would have not given me, no, so I would have to add back the depreciation also. Are you doing it as per law? Whatever the amount is as per law, then no, not a problem. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
depreciation here 1,50,000 they are telling me that it is as per the act under section 123 के हिसाब से calculate किया है. So subtract. Bad debts, actual bad debts allowed. Subtract. Compensation for breach of contract always allowed. Compensation for breach of law is not allowed. Is not allowed expense. Okay, so if you are paying compensation because you have done a breach of law, so you can't subtract that, because that not knowing law is no excuse. But yes, something went wrong in the contract and you had to pay compensation for the breach of the contract. It is an allowable expense. Hota rehta hai in business. Okay. Donations, they have told me specifically as per section 181. So I will allow it. इंटरेस्ट ऑन डिबेंचर्स, तो ऑब्वियसली डिबेंचर्स है तो इंटरेस्ट है. डिबेंचर ट्रस्टी का सैलरी तो देना ही पड़ता है. तो ऑल दिस इज एन अलावेबल एक्सपेंस. प्रॉफिट एस्पेक्ट सेक्शन 198 will be 7,25,000. Okay. Now, same 7,25,000 I will also arrive it as per net profit method. Okay. So my starting point will be my net profit. Net profit 3,32,500. I will add back all the expenses which are disallowed. So for me, income taxes here is disallowed. Add back. Income taxes disallowed. Managing director salary, it is given over here, right? Managing director salary, it is disallowed. So all which is left out, no, in the gross profit method, see, that I am going to add back. Ex gratia payments disallowed. R&D expenses disallowed. Okay, depreciation as per books is also disallowed, but your depreciation is as per section 123 only. So I'm not going to touch only my depreciation here. Huh? I'm not going to touch my depreciation at all. Not even in my in gross profit method. Yes, I'll deduct, but here I'll not touch. It is proper. Okay, less. Capital profit on sale of plant and machinery. We did know 30,000 was there. Out of 1 lakh, 70,000 we had subtracted. So we got 30,000 as a capital profit. Okay. So when I will add all this, income tax, managing director salary, ex gratia payment, R&D expense, and I'll subtract my only one disallowed income. Disallowed income. That is only the capital profit on sale of plant, that is 30,000. I'll arrive at the same profit. Profit as per section 198 will be 7,25,000. Once this profit is here, they have already told me that there is only one person, Mr. X. He is the managing director. We are entitling him with the salary of 5,000 per month. ठीक है. But one director, maximum remuneration allowed as per act is 5% of net profit. So 5% of 7,25,000, 36,250. As per the agreement, I am paying him 60,000. Also, I'm paying him 1% of the net profit. See, they have told me that we are supposed to pay him 1% of net profit before charging such salary and commission. So before charging such salary and commission, 1% of 7,25,000, 7250. So actually, I'm paying him per annum 67,250. Okay, and maximum allowed as per law is how much? 36,250. So he has to refund 23,750. However, any remuneration in excess of the limits prescribed can be paid if the company complies with the provisions of Part 2, Schedule 5 of the Company Act 2013. There is no problem in that. Is that clear? Okay. Company can pay remuneration in excess. Not a problem. Problem number 2, there is the managing director of Z Limited. He is entitled to a commission of 5% on the profits before charging such commission. If there is word before, I do not have to worry. Simple. Net profit ka 5% I will do. That's it. If the words are after only, then I have to worry. Okay. Now, following details they have given me. The net profit also they have given me before charging this commission is 40 lakhs. The following had been charged off against this profit, okay, which has been determined. So what they have done, how did they arrive at this 40 lakhs? They are saying that they have arrived it after removing depreciation of 15 lakh 95,000 and after removing provision for bad debts. Now, other relevant information. Actual bad debts during the year is 40 and depreciation as per the act for calculation of managerial remuneration is 19 lakh 58,000. Okay. Now, in this, I cannot do only gross profit method. I will do my net profit method. Net profit they have already given me. It is 40 lakhs. How did they arrive at this 40 lakhs? They have deducted this too. This depreciation as per books is not allowed. I will add back. Any kind of provisions are not allowed. I will add back. What is allowed? Actual bad debts is allowed. I'll subtract this. Actual depreciation as per the act is allowed. I'll subtract this. So I'll get the actual net profit now for my managerial remuneration. So calculation of profit as per section 198. Net profit is 40 lakhs. I will add back depreciation on fixed asset because it is as per books. Any kind of provisions is not allowed. I will add back. Okay. Minus depreciation as per section 123 I'll subtract and actual bad debts I'll subtract. I'll get profit as per section 198. Remuneration they are telling me pay him 5%. Only commission they are giving him. So 5% of the net profit. 5% of 36 lakhs 43,000. That will be 1,82,150. These type of sums are there in your MCQs. Getting my point now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chal. Now going to question number 3. From the following particulars of Ganagam Limited, calculate the maximum remuneration which is payable to the MD. So there is only one MD and there are other part-time directors of the company. They have told me the net profit before tax and managerial remuneration, but after depreciation and provision for repairs is 8,68,400. Means that this profit is arrived after removing depreciation and provisions for repairs. Depreciation as per books is 3,20,000. Depreciation allowed under the schedule, allowed under the act, section 123 is 2,75,000. Make correct this. This is section 123. Repairs for the machinery is 25,000 provided provisions are not allowed. Actual expenditure incurred on the repairs is 5,000. This is an allowed expense. So I will start with net profit before tax 8,68,400. Now this profit they have arrived after removing depreciation as per books and provision for repairs. These are expenses which are disallowed, so I'll add back. I'll add it back. However, allowable expenses, I can subtract. Income disallowed also have to subtract, but there are no such income over here. I've just written it. Okay, allowable expenses, depreciation as per law, I can subtract. Actual expenditure incurred on repairs, I can subtract. So my profit will be 9,33,400. Now there is only one MD, usko I'll give 5%, and other part-time directors are also there. So other part-time directors will get only 1%, all of them together. Okay, अगर ये one MD नहीं होता तो part-time directors would have got 3%. नहीं होता तो. But here the managing director is there. So the other part-time directors will get only 1%. Okay? So total basically have to pay 6%, which comes to 56,004. So 1% will be 9,334 and MD will get 46,670. Clear itna?
Yes.
Now going to question number 4. The profit and loss is presented by Undo Limited for this year ended 31st March 2000.
Ma'am,
Hmm?
all the other directors except the managing director, since total is allowed to be 11%, so all the remaining together can get up to 6%. Isn't that right?
No, 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 no. Absolutely wrong. If I'm having only one MD in my company, okay, just a minute. Okay. If I have only one MD or only one full-time director, anyone, huh? Or, okay, only one, but one. Then it will be, I can give him 5%. Only one person is there. 5% of net profit. Okay. But if there is more than one MD तो हमेशा एक ही होता है. More than one managerial personnel. So that means I have a MD also. I also have a whole-time director, etc. Okay. If there is more than one managerial personnel, okay, then together to all of them it will be 10% of net profit together, all of them. So say there is one MD, example, there is one MD, there are two whole-time directors. Total how many are there? 3 managerial personnels, no? Total how much will they get? 10% of net profit, not to each one, all of them together. Okay, company can remove 10% of net profit and then pay accordingly whatever they want to pay to this one MD and whatever they want to pay to this two whole-time directors, they can decide. Or 5% भी कर सकते हैं. Whatever is the company's agreement. Company can remove only 10% of net profit. I am talking from company point of view. What is their personal agreement with those MDs and whole-time directors? I have nothing to do with that. Okay. Now say suppose there is MD, there are two whole-time directors and there are 3 part-time directors. Example. All of them together, okay, for all of them together, company can remove maximum 11% of net profit. कैसे आया maximum 11% of net profit? Because for them maximum 10% है. Also for part-time directors it is 1%. हो गया ना total 11%. Okay. Then say suppose there is an MD, there are two whole-time directors and there are two part-time directors or 3 part-time directors, anything. Then for this alone part-time directors I can remove 1% of net profit. But if there is no MD, there are no whole-time directors, nobody is there, only part-time directors are there, then for all these part-time directors together, I can remove maximum 3% of net profit. Is that clear now?
And one MD and only
There
part-time
is one
director
MD, okay,
and part-time directors.
and part-time directors are there. Okay, so this one MD and part-time directors are there, no? So this one MD, this part-time directors can get only 1% of net profit. Why?
Because MD is also present.
Because MD is also present, no? This situation it is. And there
So
is
it
only
is
one
5% plus
5%.
1%.
Huh? Sorry?
It's 5% plus 1%. It's
Yes.
not 5 plus 6. Okay.
No, it is not
Okay.
5 plus 6.
Okay.
ओके, फिर यहाँ पे पार्ट टाइम डायरेक्टर्स 10 भी रहने दो, 10 पार्ट टाइम डायरेक्टर है. ओके, सबको कैसे बांटूंगी मैं? 1% ऑफ नेट प्रॉफिट निकाल के बांटना पड़ेगा. समझ में आ रहा है अभी?
Okay, ma'am.
Don't get confused, huh? Managerial remuneration is a chapter which every student finds it tricky. I don't know why, but it is so simple. Okay, if my company does not have only any whole-time managerial personnel, I don't have only any MD, only part-time directors are coming and working in my company. So for all those part-time directors, फिर वो 1 होने दो या 10 होने दो, for them I will remove 3% of net profit. But in my company, I have a mixture. I have MD, I have some whole-time directors, and I have some part-time directors. Then for those part-time directors, I can remove only 1% of my net profit. Why? Because the balance of the 10% I have to remove for my this one MD and other whole-time directors. And if there is nobody, only one MD is there or one whole-time director is there, there is only 5% of net profit. Clear it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Okay, now there are quite a few sums which are yet to be done. So what I will do is you all can just, I'll send you all the notes, take a printout, sit and revise them, and I'll continue this chapter tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Go ahead and revise everything. Here. Financial statements interpretation, chapter number 6. Okay. Managerial remuneration. When you'll open your scanner, you will find this as a separate chapter, chapter number 10, managerial remuneration. Okay. So finish this chapter, read everything, do the theory also from the module, do this 3-4 sums which I've already solved with you, and the balance sums I'll continue tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.